from
Let me
non-life?
explain. An inorganic
Let you
substance.
explain.
An inorganic substance doesn't have life, but an organic compound.
Does organic substance have life?
Yeah, it has cellular
Oh, it does.
organization.
So fucking
It has
methane
cellular
has life.
organization. What
So
are cells?
methane has life.
What are cells?
Really?
Cells.
So
Okay. What is
fucking
bacteria?
methane
What is
has
bacteria?
life.
What is bacterium? It's a unicellular organism. It's a unicellular organism.
I'll tell you what, clown fuck of a moron. How do you get a single ribose DNA base from its constituent parts, please? Chemical reaction right fucking now.
That's what I just asked him.
Hydrogen, ammonia, methane, water.
That's not a chemical reaction.
Yes, it is. Literally look up the Stanley.
We want the reaction. That's an elephant hurling fallacy. Give us the reaction, fucktard, in the second law of thermodynamics concept. I want the G, right?
You're well. Okay, get a flask.
Get a flask. Fuck off.
Get a
what
spark.
What is delta G?
Yeah, spark the flask.
What is delta G? You're talking about Stanley Miller?
Yes.
Are you fucking kidding
you're talking
me?
about the Miller experiment.
Yeah, Stanley Miller.
What was the purity? What was the purity of what he got?
He literally got amino acids. He synthesized amino acids.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No.
They reanalyzed the flask, you dummy. They reanalyzed the flask.
What?
Looks like I'm not. Go ahead, take over. I'm not putting up with this shit.
What did you say about the flask?
They reanalyzed this flask something like 40 years later.
Yeah, and what does that prove? He synthesized amino acids.
He didn't synthesize anything.
Yes, he did. 13 of the 22 amino acids had chirality. They were left-handed. That's what life uses. They use left-handed amino acids, not right-handed ones.
You're a fucking moron. No, they didn't. What are the amino acids they come up with?
Bro, 13.
Bro, what are the amino acids?
Wikipedia article, QE. He read the Wikipedia article.
What are the amino acids they come up with?
I'm literally telling you the basics of the
You ain't telling me shit. I knew fucking Stanley Miller and fucking... I know more about Stanley Miller yesterday. I forgot more than you know now.
Okay, then object to what I said. Object to what I said then.
Object to what you said. You haven't answered my question about the fucking DNA.
You did. You said
give me a single nucleoside. I bet you don't even know what a nucleoside is. What's a nucleoside?
You didn't even ask. You didn't even ask about
yes, I did.
What's a codon?
Now, what's a nucleoside, number one, and then show how a nucleoside can be formed naturally from its constituent parts, and I want it in a delta G context. Show it now.
Nucleotides just compose DNA.
No, I didn't say nucleotides, motherfucker. I said nucleoside. What's a nucleoside?
Are you gonna be nice?
What's a nucleoside, you clown fuck?
Okay, if you're gonna talk like that, then I don't know why.
You're fucking done. You're a clown fuck show.
Why do you talk like that? You don't talk.
You're a fucking pretender clown.
Huey, what? He said diffraction and refraction are the same thing. Yeah.
In the context of a boat disappearing over horizon,
how is diffraction?
Anyways,
what is the tell us? No, not anyways.
What is your objection to the
have to do with the horizon?
Oh, what is your
our topic is flat Earth side. We're going back to the horizon and the diffraction. refraction.
Tell me how diffraction.
I didn't get my answer for
diffraction interacts with the horizon. How it causes it.
I didn't get my answer for abiogenesis.
There is no abiogenesis. It's a fairy tale. What are the odds of a single protein? How much time does it take to a single protein to form by chance?
Protein? He can't get.
No.
Hold on.
I just want to answer.
Single protein? He can't even get fucking alpha. What's an alpha amino acid? You can't even get an alpha. Just one alpha amino acid. Just one naturally. What is an alpha amino acid there, son? You clown fuck. You're finished.
Oh, I don't even know when I'm muted or not because you guys keep muting me. I don't know.
I don't even know. Appeal to muting. You're a fucking clown.
Yeah, because you mute me every second.
I didn't mute you. I don't even know who you are.
I
Yeah,
muted
well,
you, Sai,
someone.
because you kept trying to talk about abiogenesis. We were going back to the horizon. Now we're back to abiogenesis again. You've been unmuted for quite some
Yeah,
time.
no one's.
You wasted your time complaining about it. I'm the moderator. Answer his question.
Fuck, he didn't
Okay,
even know what
so
abiogenesis was.
yes, I did. I literally summarized it.
No, you didn't. You said inorganic. We ain't going back over it. So
Is non-living matter. If it's inorganic,
no,
then
it's not. You're a fucking moron. Of the
if it's
500 amino
inorganic,
acids known, dipshit, 23
huh?
of them are alpha amino acids. All life requires and
No,
exclusively
20,
uses the 20
22 of the
essential
amino.
alpha amino acids. I want
Yeah,
you to
those are
cite the
left-handed
source.
ones.
Shut your
That's
fucking
what
mouth.
chirality is.
You're fucking done. I'm tired of fucking over talking you. You're a pretender clown numpty dipshit. You didn't know what abiogenesis was, just at a basic fundamental level. What else did he know? What did you ask him, Indio?
Indio was trying to go back to his earlier claim, which was that refraction and diffraction are the same, that there's no
Oh, I
difference.
thought he had another. Nah, before we got to that.
I don't know what his other question.
I asked him how ribose is made outside of nature.
Mm-hmm.
I asked for the chemical reaction to make ribose outside of an organic body. Inorganic chemical reaction. I know there is.
Yeah, that's why he didn't provide it. So good question, man. I didn't hear that fully.
Well, without ribose, you got nothing, right? Really, you got nothing.
Well, without a knower, you got nothing. I wasn't gonna go there.
I mean, there's like 50 parts where if you don't have it, you don't have anything, and you can't make any of them.
No, they're all uphill react. He didn't even know what a nucleoside was. He went right to nucleotide. That's where I busted his dumb ass.
Is he still here?
And when I said Delta G, I'll bet you that motherfucker thinks Delta G's a disco band from the 70s. I'll bet he does. Don't you?
He's here.
What's Delta G?
I'm gonna give him a little advice. Go on YouTube, type in James Tour. He's got a 10-part series on abiogenesis. He's the most cited synthetic chemist
Dave
in the world.
Destroyed him, by the way.
No, go look at his reputation today.
Who, Professor Dave? He doesn't even know the law of thermodynamics.
Listen, clown, dude. Go. He answered Dave's little video, okay? In detail, with the actual chemical reactions. James Tour is cited something like 130,000 times. Yeah, dude. He's considered one of the top 3 chemists in the last 100 years. So, I'll put him up against Professor Dave any day.
He went up against Professor Dave. We don't need James Tour. I destroyed his dumb ass. He doesn't know what the second law of thermodynamics is. He doesn't know what delta G is. The exact question I asked this fucking idiot. What's delta G? What is... Oh, you've had plenty of time. You've had like 5 minutes to look this shit up. What is delta G, fuckwit?
Listen, I'm here to discuss abiogenesis.
Fuck you. You don't even know what abiogenesis is. You already showed that. Cite a definition of abiogenesis right now. You're not coming off mute. Right fucking now. I need a citation. Abiogenesis. Right now. I'll guarantee it's not what you just said. Guarantee it. Because I know it.
What's up, ZYX? We can have a new member. You can talk to him until this guy gets you a citation.
Yep. Okay.
Yo, ZYX. You got a mic? You're unmuted. Well, let me know whenever you get a mic, alright? Alright.
I got to give that guy the fake Prof. Dave cultist role, so that's really fun.
So the video I posted there, Clown Shoe, that is a direct refutation of the Uri Miller. They retested the flask. The thing was contaminated. Sorry, game over.
It was over before he started. It was Yuri Miller.
Yeah,
He's
I know. And like,
too.
I was trying to explain the diffraction limit with him, and he tried to say refraction and diffraction are the same thing.
Yeah, they sure sound like it. Same word.
Yeah, and then I read the definition to him, and then he just keeps saying it. He just like, in the context we're using it in, he like if he says it 7 times, it becomes true.
Dude, do you want to comment about that? I actually want to hear that, man. That refraction and diffraction are the same thing. What's diffraction? Sorry.
I want to know what diffraction has to do with the horizon.
Must be a little slit in the horizon, man. Wave is breaking. Yo, Sai.
Oh, I didn't know I was unmuted. Yeah?
Yeah. What was
What
that?
does diffraction have to do with the horizon? In the context we were talking about it, what context was I talking about diffraction in? And how is it related to refraction?
We were talking about boats disappearing in the distance, and all I said was that they can be was that diffraction and refraction can be used interchangeably in that conversation.
No, they can't. No, they
I
can't.
said that individually they're different concepts, but in that conversation,
They can't be used interchangeably. They have nothing to do with each other. Diffraction is the inability to... No, they don't.
They're related.
No, they're not. They're not even remotely related.
Yeah, diffraction is just when like any frequency or wave sort of like reaches
waves either, you fucking clown.
What? Look, that's what diffraction is. Like a frequency or a wave.
They're not waves. That we'll get off the beaten path, Indio. Just go ahead. He's a
look.
How is it not waves?
I'm gonna explain it to you like it has wave-like behavior, but it's not made of waves. Anyway,
I didn't say it was made of waves. I just said waves. Why are you assuming that?
So listen.
What?
Listen.
That is how it's defined.
If I stick a rock in a river, right, there'll be a wake at the edges of the rock. Right? I'm trying to explain to you by analogy. A wake around the edges of a rock. If I stick a rock in a moving river and it's sticking partially out of the river, or if I stick something in with a bunch of holes in it, you'll get these interference patterns, right? This is diffraction. Now, it can happen along an edge, or it happens when light passes through a narrow aperture. So the narrow aperture of like your eye or a camera, right? If the angle displacing 2 waves is too narrow, you can't differentiate 2 points of light. This is a diffraction limit. So 2 points of light, and I used the headlight analogy. So
you can measure
in a car. No, you can't. It's unresolvable.
You said
it's called the diffraction limit. It's a limit. It's a physical limit.
But they're like it's like separate. Even if it's narrow, they're still separate. You can measure it.
No, you can't. That is the point. It is a physical limit. It is a diffraction limit. It is a theoretical limit. It's the maximum resolving power. The theoretical maximum resolving power of any optical instrument is the diffraction limit. Nothing even gets close to that, but it's a theoretical limit because the actual size of the wave, right? The actual wavelength overlaps 2 waves. 2 waves are overlapping. So if 2 waves overlap, you can't differentiate them, and they appear as like in the case of light, it would be 2 airy disks. 2 airy disks, the angle separating them is too close together, so you only resolve 1 point of light. Because the interference, they're overlapping.
I just searched it up, and it says that it can be limited by factors like imperfections or lenses or misalignment. But it says that there's a principle of resolution to any optical system.
Yeah.
So there is a resolution.
Yeah, know all about it. Yeah, but there's a limit.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so go on with what you were saying.
So if I have 450 nanometer light, I can't image things that are smaller than 450 nanometer, right?
450 nanometer. Yeah.
So I can't image things with that wavelength that are smaller than that wavelength. Right?
I mean, maybe. Like, I'm not really well versed in this. That's why I wanted to talk about biochemistry.
So stop talking about it. Then why are you like, you can use them interchangeably? You can't. If you don't know anything about it, just admit it and move on.
I'm not completely ignorant on it. I know some stuff of it.
No, you're completely ignorant.
Okay, sure. Anyways, is there any like specific channel for like biochemistry or something? Because
not here. What does biochemistry have to do with flat Earth?
This religious channel. Just scroll down.
Well, the server's mainly.
Here, Huckleberry Sunshine. I just handed you your ass. By the way,
you need chemistry 101. You don't need biochemistry. You need chemistry 101.
Okay, then why
you
don't
need
you
to start
why
off
don't
at
you expose
inorganic
me?
chemistry?
Why don't we talk about the flask? You can expose me right here.
I exposed you already. You didn't know.
Okay, do it again then. Let's talk about
I posted. Listen, I posted the video. I posted a video. You can watch it.
Biochemistry. Abiogenesis.
I just posted definition like I said it was. He's a fucking clown. He doesn't even know that.
That video is part of a 13-part series, a refutation of Dave's little 2-part series.
I'm out of here.
I want the kid to actually learn something instead of being a dumbass. I know that's a tall order, but whatever.
Oh, that's what Google is for. Did you hear? Yeah. I just looked it up and yeah.
So as they say, the devil is in the details. So Dr. Torek goes over the actual chemical reactions because he's an actual chemist, a practicing scientist with hundreds of patents. Actually, owns dozens of companies. So
he openly lied. I can tell you how he lied. Chirality. He said that Stanley Miller only made right-handed amino acids when that's false. He had 13 left-handed amino acids synthesized from the flask. So he literally, Dave.
Okay, I'm not going to take your word for it. I mean, I would need fucking.
Okay, I can give you timestamps if you want. I'm not making this up. James Tour, in one of his 13 videos, I don't know, I can get the video if you want. He said that the experiment is useless because it only produced unusable amino acids, which aren't used for life because they're right-handed, and all life uses.
It's different than what you just said. That's way different than what you just said.
What? I'm saying
something is unusable is different than saying they produce none of it.
Right-handed amino acids are unusable for life. That's why he said that. They can't be used for life.
Okay, you're inferring something from what he said, but it can be unusable for other reasons, as in it's not in the concentration required to make the reaction.
No, because we're talking about life. So he would be talking about life. We're talking about making life.
I don't even know what life is. What is life?
Okay. So if you need a 50% concentration, right, and you got a 90% concentration, having 13 amino acids out of, say, 1,000, it's useless, right? But there's still some there, but it's still useless. You're projecting what you want. What do you want to think, dude? It's way different than somebody lying, which means you're lying.
You see, he seems like, Sai, you seem like you really want this to be true, and so you're not really examining the other side.
Does it go down to religion?
He's not even critically thinking about his side.
I've literally, okay, first of all, I'll prove you wrong on James Tour later, but I've literally, I used to not believe in abiogenesis, so that's just wrong. I willingly believed in it because I literally just believe it's true. And I want to prove it's true, but no one here.
Religion room and discuss shit like that down
there. First of all, it's not even provable it's true without a fucking time machine. Okay? It's not provably true. That's impossible.
No, it is possible.
You can't prove events of the past. No, you cannot prove events of the past. That is fucking impossible.
We can through induction.
Look,
no, induction can't prove anything.
Are you talking about The Problem of Induction by David Hume?
Dude, yes. Induction can't prove anything because all inductive logic That's a fatal flaw. The logical fallacy of affirming the consequent.
The inductive reasoning isn't affirming the consequent. It's not if P then Q.
All inductive logic uses affirming the consequent.
No, inductive logic is just like observing patterns, and
if you want to say organic,
this pattern fits my hypothesis, then this pattern is likely true. Likely is an appeal to probability fallacy.
because there can't be any other option.
Hey, which is more likely? That
if there can't be any other option, then you would have a deductive proof.
No, it's inductive because it keeps occurring.
Yeah, it's inductive because it's not a proof, dude. That's why they're two different words. This is how we differentiate.
Hey, wait. Are you a Christian, by the way?
Oh my God, dude!
None of your fucking business, and it's irrelevant.
You're saying it accidentally happened. We're saying it was created. Which is more likely? That fucking lightning hit a rock, or that it was created? So take it down to religion, man.
I want to tell you this because Huey wouldn't let me answer. The odds of a single protein being created by chance is 1 to the 164th. That's an exponent. 10 to the 164 years. If you had a snail, right, in the heliocentric model, if you had a snail going across the universe at 1 meter per hour, they would be able to travel across the entire universe 21 million times in that amount of time for a single protein to be formed by chance. Okay? You believe that shit.
Let's discuss ribose then.
Good luck with you. There's nothing to discuss. This is a flat earth server. I'm not talking about pseudoscience, unfalsifiable gibberish. Because what you're saying is unfalsifiable gibberish. Then, dude, you don't know what that even means.
What do I not know?
Having evidence of something does not mean it's falsifiable. You have to be able to do a test that would prove it wrong.
Yeah, but it is falsifiable. All you have to do is prove biogenesis.
Listen,
oh my God.
No, dude, you don't get it. Okay, I'm going to explain it to you. My theory is all swans are white. I go look for a black swan. That would falsify my theory, finding a black swan. You look, and it doesn't matter how many white swans I find. I can find a trillion white swans. Listen, I could do a biogenesis 150 so-called experiment, which is consistent with the theory of abiogenesis. But it only takes one experiment that isn't consistent with it to prove it wrong. That's how falsification works.
Yeah, so if you prove
confirmations don't matter.
If you prove biogenesis, then abiogenesis is wrong.
Dude, you're an idiot. You are.
Do you know what biogenesis is?
I've got 6 children. I proved it 6 times, Ty.
Dude, you're like super stupid. Listen,
that's not proving biogenesis.
Listen, I'm going to ask you a simple question. If I could do an experiment to prove abiogenesis did not happen, what experiment would that be?
You could probably examine the chirality and prove an error there, because if the chirality has an error, such like if you use James Tour's argument and argue that, for example, like the early Earth didn't have the same conditions that we had today from the Miller experiment, because the early Earth was like a lot different than today. Like it was like a neutral atmosphere.
Was it a flat Earth?
Early Earth.
Holy shit, stories, man.
Hey,
I asked for the experiment. I asked for the
early Earth. Yeah, that's what the early Earth is.
Do you see? Why don't you see that what you're doing right now has nothing to do with any type of science? You're telling a story, like a storyteller. You might as well be reading us Middle Earth.
You're
not talking about chemistry, but you're not talking about chemistry.
Abiogenesis it's literally purely chemistry.
Okay, you haven't given us any chemical reaction that anybody can perform in a lab.
Okay, I'll give it to you right now.
How far is early Earth?
Hey, so listen, okay, dude, I asked you for the experiment, the scientific experiment, like a chemical reaction, anything that I can do to prove that abiogenesis is bullshit. What experiment can I do?
To prove it's wrong?
Yes, that's how falsification works. Falsification.
Yeah, I know. You can do what Louis Pasteur did. He tried to prove biogenesis. He did an experiment, I believe in the 1800s, on chirality, where he tried to prove that inorganic substances don't have the energy to produce organic compounds. That's what Louis Pasteur did. You can search his name up. He's a well-known Christian that argued for biogenesis. He argued for biogenesis.
Pasteurized milk, dude. Yeah.
Huh?
Like, we all know who Louis Pasteur is.
Yeah.
Pasteurized milk.
Huh?
You never heard of pasteurized milk? Jesus Christ, man. Holy fuck. I'm about to jump off a fucking ledge right now.
Yeah, well, maybe you should
like,
calm
serious,
down.
man. No, like, dude, you have the fucking one of the worst Dunning-Krugers that I've ever seen in my life, man. Like, seriously.
Okay, then make an argument. You can't make any arguments.
I did. You don't understand the argument. That's the problem.
Okay, what's the argument against abiogenesis?
It's not falsifiable by fucking experiment, which makes it pseudoscience.
It is falsifiable because it makes.
And give me the experiment that could falsify it.
Okay, so we can just look at what Lewis did, I guess. What he did was
another story. So if he got a certain result, it would have falsified abiogenesis. You couldn't claim that it was a different mechanism.
Yeah, no, there's definitely more than one mechanism, but I'm just using an example. So you can prove that inorganic things can't give rise to things that have cellular like organization. So you can do that by doing an experiment similar to what Stanley Miller did. You can get a flask. You can
get organization. What?
You can get you can get a soup of molecules. You can get
a soup of molecules. What molecules?
Will you please let him finish? Will you please, let him finish? I want to destroy this bullshit, dude.
Okay, yeah, you can write it down. So look. So
I don't need to write it down. I'm going to just destroy it because I already know the answer because you're just talking gibberish.
Okay, perfect. You can destroy it.
So Stanley, you do your Miller experiment. So they did it for how much time?
7 days, I think.
Okay, so what if they didn't get anything in days? Would that have falsified abiogenesis?
If they didn't get any result?
No. Yeah, in 7 days. No.
Yeah, probably.
And what if they did it for 14 days? No.
No.
What if they did it for 300 days? No.
No.
300 years? No. Right?
Maybe.
Because we're talking about time scales that can't be tested.
So
we're talking about time scales that can't be. No, listen, dude. Yeah, I want you to really comprehend this because you're having a really hard time. It's not falsifiable because you can just say, wait longer. Right? So that experiment can't falsify abiogenesis because you can just say, you didn't do the experiment long enough.
No. I don't think it's purely time based. I think it's just it has to do with the compound.
Time based.
I can explain the experiment you can do. You asked me to explain it. I can explain it.
Dude, I didn't ask you to explain shit. I asked you for the experiment that you could do to falsify abiogenesis.
You asked me to explain the experiment which can falsify it. I'm about to say
it would not falsify it. You already conceded that.
No. I didn't concede anything. I said that just that if they didn't synthesize any organic compounds in 7 days, it wouldn't disprove it. But there's other ways, and I can explain it right now.
Yeah. Okay. Give us.
So, so do a test like Stanley Miller, but I'll modify it. Okay, I'll give you a difference. So you get a flask because we're going off what abiogenesis says. So you need energy to spark the reaction. So you get a flask. You get a what is it called? So you get hydrogen, ammonia, water, and methane. Those are the basic chemical reactions we need. And then you get and then you get molecules. So you put RNA in there. And then you can put DNA in there. So yeah.
Where did that come from?
Huh? RNA.
Where did RNA? Where did you get RNA and DNA from? Where did you get that from?
Hold on.
So
spontaneous combustion. Somehow.
Hold on. So the primordial Earth before life had DNA and RNA.
No, RNA came first.
Oh,
before life came, there was RNA.
Yeah, that's called the RNA world hypothesis. It's well known.
The hypothesis.
Yeah, it's a hypothesis.
Well, with the hypothesis, that means it's never been tested.
Well, we
have
know
what the RNA is.
We have a lot of evidence that RNA molecules existed. I can give you evidence for that if you want, but that's a different topic. RNA isn't organic, so it doesn't matter.
Look, but it's never been tested.
Okay, do you want me to give you
You
evidence?
know what a hypothesis is, right? A hypothesis is you haven't done the experiment yet.
Yeah, but we can still give evidences for it.
So, like, my hypothesis is I'm going to cross a bridge in 3 days.
Okay,
I can't say that I crossed the bridge in 3 days because it's still a hypothesis. It's complete speculation. So your evidence is speculation?
Okay, do you know what the RNA world is or not?
Dude, listen. You're dancing around, and I'm getting pretty tired of it.
You
I just want the fucking experiment. No,
I was going to finish it, but you interrupted me.
Look, you're wrong because that experiment can't falsify anything because the RNA hypothesis is simply a fucking hypothesis.
The RNA world is literally...
How can it falsify a theory? How can a hypothesis that's unproven falsify a theory?
Okay, RNA is a close relative of DNA. It was the first genetic molecule.
Oh, he's got to get the story out. I don't give a fuck about your story, dude. Really, I don't. It's a story. It's a story. And
no, it's not.
You are literally proving it's just... Listen, this is the story. Okay,
the Bible
this is the story. Good for the Bible. No, it is a story because you have no evidence for it.
The Bible is a story.
No, you have no evidence for it. No, you have no evidence for it. That's why it's a story, because I'm asking you for the falsifiable experiment so we can actually call it science, and you don't have any. You just keep going back into narrative, dude. Song and dance, song and dance, song and dance, song and dance. This is what you're doing over and over again. Right? I want the experiment. The experiment. Give me the experiment. The chemical reaction. Give it to me.
So
if I get some result, it proves it wrong because we want to be able to call it a proper scientific theory and not a fucking story.
Okay, so I'm going to finish what I was saying now.
The story. Okay, let's hear it. Yeah, let's hear your story. Why don't I just read Wikipedia?
Yeah, if you want, you can search up the RNA world because it seems like you don't know what it is.
I don't care.
Then don't mention Wikipedia. Anyways, what I was saying...
Your Wikipedia.
What?
Your Wikipedia.
Okay, I guess. I don't know why that's an insult.
Because it's a fucking story, dude. Because it's a story. You're telling a story.
Yeah, and the Bible and the Old Testament telling Moses and his soldiers to
listen. The Bible doesn't listen. Let me ask you a question. Does the Bible claim to be a scientific text?
Hopefully not, because it makes so many errors, like calling whales fish.
Yes, oh my God! Fit to judge your text,
man. Dude, like, listen. That's to categorize things like that. You're so stupid, dude. Dude, I'm muting you. You're fucking. That is so dumb. I'm muting. You didn't categorize things like.
Yes, I find it unfortunate. Yeah,
I'm still not muted, by the way.
We find these young people that they actually don't understand why we make fun of Wiki as a source, like, Quantum Eraser, which I think it's funny when Quantum Eraser, what is it that he says? Your alma mater, Wiki. This guy is, his alma mater is Wiki. He's not even like ashamed of it. He doesn't even understand why it's a joke. Like, it's humorous to me.
I'll literally link
when I was in education school, we were taught that to teach our students very clearly. I guess teachers have stopped doing it. Wikipedia is not a valid source. You can possibly go down to the bottom and find the sources that the page were from and see if they're actual academic sources that have credibility to them. But these days, even that you can't even, rely on, because you cannot necessarily even rely on a peer-reviewed
do you want Cambridge
or university and actually being a valid source, because the information is pseudoscience. So you're new to this idea. You're new to the concept of science needing to be falsifiable, because unfortunately you're a product of society that has given you a misunderstanding of what science actually is, that it has to be observable, repeatable, verifiable, and that you have to have a testable experiment to test a cause and effect relationship, and that has to be falsifiable. So does it do well? Does that go well for you in the world when someone's trying to explain something to you and you just keep saying no while they're talking, instead of waiting for them to be done and then addressing their points and the actual points which they said, instead of going off onto some other tangent?
That's so ironic.
What would you like
Also,
to say about why are you saying you don't think science should be falsifiable, testable, repeatable,
doesn't
verifiable?
Paul say?
Why did you keep saying no when I said that? And you're pretending you're the scientist, and you're trying to act like we're the religious nuts here. You're the religious nuts, Sai. You're a religious nut.
Doesn't Paul say women can't speak over men? So why are you interrupting me?
Why are you assuming I
You're not a man.
Paul says?
You're not a man.
My question.
Like, what are you fucking talking about? You're not a man.
Wait, so you guys are against Paul?
Rock, like Michelle. You sound exactly like Michelle.
Complicated.
Have you heard of her? Have you seen her face? Have you heard what she said?
Yeah, I guess you guys.
That's his grandma.
You're a religious zealot. You're a cultist. You're a member of a religious cult.
Damn. Okay.
Welcome to your world.
You're using verses from the Bible or whatnot. It's like, bro, you're the only one that's bringing up like religious stuff.
Most of the flat earthers are like low IQ maniacs are Christians.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. So do you have any evidence for that?
Fallacies.
Do you have any evidence most flat earthers are Christians? Any evidence?
Yeah, like all of those nuts quote the Bible all the time.
Oh, so your anecdotal evidence, the thing that you guys were talking about earlier, and you questioned on whether somebody knew anecdotal or not.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is. You don't know what it is.
It's so funny how you remember everything I say.
You just used it.
It's very smart.
I remember everything, period. So, anecdotal evidence. Anecdotal evidence. You just used it. Your personal anecdote. You made a generalization.
Yeah, it's not a fallacy, you idiot.
The people you met.
It's not a fallacy,
people you met. Is a fallacy. Google it. Wiki it. Even better, wiki it, dude. Wiki it.
His brain is melting.
Generalization is making a general claim based upon a statistically insignificant sample size, as in
most of the flat earth are nuts are Christians, like quote Isaiah.
Well, you just keep saying that. Like, if you say it 3 times, it becomes true, which is an appeal, which is an argument by repetition fallacy. They all quote the Bible. I didn't quote the Bible once.
You're the only one that quoted the Bible, man. You're the only one.
You must be Christian. He's the Christian.
Yep.
Yeah,
he's a Christian,
Paul.
You're a Christian.
Paul taught those women. He was like, "Yo, you can't overspeak men. Put them in their."
What time is mass? What time is mass, Christian? Where do we pay our tithe, Christian? Imagine having a religion with no deity, man. How pathetic. At least get a deity.
Oh, man. I heard Big Bang was a new deity, dude. Big Bang.
Yeah, that's his religion. Clearly, you're a religious zealot, so it's very sad. How did
fanatic? You got called a fanatic.
Fanatic.
Totally.
He'd strap a bomb to himself. He would blow us up if he could.
He's a fanatic.
You're a terrorist, Si. You're an extremist.
I'm a terrorist.
He's a terrorist to logic and reason, man. Destroying it.
Yeah.
Yep. Shredded that shit. No logic.
Found in the earth.
You can't even comprehend a simple principle of falsification. Why? I gave you an example. Black Swan. It's a well-known example. It's been taught in the philosophy of science for like 150 years. How can you know Hume but you don't know Karl Popper? Like, what's your issue?
Well, he's here quoting all these books, all these people, not providing anything except faith in all these books and all these people. And then he goes on about Christians in their book, right? It's like, dude, are you religious?
He's the religious one.
Wait, you don't have faith?
Do you believe in God?
I'm going to prove in 1 second that you have faith. Listen, I can prove in 1 second, in like 2 minutes, that you have faith. Have you ever experienced the earth as a ball? Ever?
What do you mean by experience?
Experience with your senses.
So, like sense drive?
Yeah, with your senses.
Sense drive.
Outside of your mind. Yeah. Outside of your mind.
You have senses?
Have you experienced the earth as a ball with your senses?
Yes.
Where were you?
Huh?
Where were you?
You can prove it with philosophy.
What
philosophy?
Yeah, that's rational.
The philosopher sensor. Oh no.
Yeah, you can prove it with philosophy. It's quite easy.
First of
That's
all,
what the Greeks and Romans and Persians did thousands of years ago, and yet you numbnuts are still here today acting like retards online.
Okay, so they prove the globe with philosophy. What is the axiom of the globe? What is the logical axiom?
Axiom of the globe? That's not how axioms work, bro.
It's a logical axiom. What is the logical axiom of the globe? That is exactly how they work.
No,
it's not a refutation.
Axioms are divided into 3 factors: self-evidence. Okay.
Yep. What's self-evident? I don't need to know the other two because it only matters one. Self-evident.
So you don't know what an axiom is.
What's self-evident? So what is the globe? What's self-evident about the Earth that it's a globe? That's why I asked you, when do you perceive the Earth as a globe with your experiences? When do you experience it? So you're trying to dance around and run away with it because you're caught. You're trapped, dude. There's no way out. What is the globe axiom? Yeah, it's self-evident that the Earth appears flat. That's self-evident.
1 equals 1 is self-evident. The Earth being a globe isn't self-evident because you have to do external things, like you have to do.
So you never experienced it.
I did experience it, but I just don't think it's self-evident. That's it. Those aren't two.
Where did you experience it at? Where did you experience it at? How did you experience? What sense was it?
I rationalized it using philosophy.
That's not a sense. That's not an experience.
It is an experience. Do you not believe humans are sentient?
Thoughts are not a sense.
Yeah, but they're rational. Like they're rational.
They're not sensitive.
Logical.
Oh, that's a thought. That's the point. That's the point I'm making. You have never experienced the Earth as a globe. You've constructed it in your mind.
Well, no, because I can rationalize it and I can prove it through senses.
I already proved you have no rationalization because you have no axiom.
You don't know what an axiom is.
Through sense, he said he can prove.
You don't know what an axiom is.
I do know what an axiom is.
Can I tell you why there's no such thing as an axiom of the Earth? Can I tell you why?
There's an axiom of how we experience the Earth, of what it is.
Can you tell us why? Are you able to?
Actually, no. No. Technically, what you rephrase yourself, and you're actually right when you say that. There is an axiom, and the axiom is that the Earth is a globe. But that's an axiom because axioms are propositions or statements which are generally regarded as established, accepted, or self-evidently true.
You're talking about a mathematical axiom. You're confused. Dude.
No, that's literally just a general.
You're talking about a mathematical axiom. You're confused.
I think you really philosophically illiterate. That's what an axiom is.
Listen.
Yeah, I think you're pretty dumb, bro.
Yeah, you're dumb. That's.
Oh, you said no. You're
just dumb, and you just don't understand. You don't even understand orbital mechanics. That's my reputation.
Orbital mechanics, bro. You don't know what an axiom is. Come on, man.
What a rebuttal.
You said axiom is something that's self-evident. We can look up the definition. Diffraction is refraction. We can just look up the definition. We know the definition of axiom. It's written down. It's in the English language.
So I can read it for you if you want. I can read it.
Yeah, and something, and there's 3 options. Something that's self-evident is one of those options. It's the only one that's applicable.
You said that the definition I used was mathematics, but if I go to Oxford, it says this: general noun of axiom, a statement or proposition which is regarded as being established, accepted, or self-evidently true. Mathematics, which is different, a statement or proposition on which an abstractly defined structure is based. They're 2 different things. You conflated them. I didn't use the mathematical definition. I used the general one.
Listen, the mathematical definition is an axiom which was regarded as true. So
that's wrong. I just got it from Oxford. You want to see it? Look it up.
You don't know any. You obviously know nothing about mathematics.
So you're wrong. I literally just looked it up.
I'm not. Listen.
Okay.
No, you're confused, and you don't understand words, and you have poor English comprehension. That's pretty much the fact of the matter here. Taken as true. So in mathematics, you take something as true. So in non-Euclidean geometry, one of the axioms is there are no straight lines. Okay. That's an axiom of non-Euclidean geometry.
Okay, India.
So you take it as true, and that's why it's an axiom.
Great. Go on Google right now.
We're not talking about that kind of axiom. We're talking about a logical axiom.
So are you saying that all these
self-evident, which doesn't have to be proven? Which doesn't have to be proven. You can try.
Can you let him finish, bro?
Yes. Listen, it's not wrong. You're using it out of context because you have poor English comprehension.
Okay, then read it. I have poor English, and search it up and read it. Let's read it together. Come on.
Listen. You have poor. You're using it out of context. There's multiple definitions, and there's different contexts.
They all say the same thing. They all make the same distinction.
Yes, distinction. That's right. And each distinction has a context in which it's used in.
Okay, let's read it together.
The context in which it's used in. Yeah, great, fantastic, dude. You're trying to dance around and get away from the fact that each distinction of the definition is used in a specific context. And in the context I'm using axiom is in the context of logic. And in the context of logic, it's used as something that is self-evident.
It literally has label.
It doesn't require proof. So you can talk over me all you want. It doesn't require proof because it's self-evident. This is a starting point from rational inquiry. It's well known, dude. Okay, should actually take a philosophy class. Actually, take one.
Bruh. You don't even know Phil 101.
What good is your brain?
What good is your brain? Over 20 years ago.
What good are you?
You're 4 years old, and you don't even.
Before you were trickled down your daddy's leg, dude. Like
you don't know what an axiom is, bro. You don't know what an axiom is.
Yeah, I have a question. I know you know, but what am I? Is that next?
I have a question.
I think you should hold your breath till you turn blue.
Yeah. I pressed a few buttons. I'm holding.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Cyrus, because he's just a very silly person. I mean, I don't know how he expects us to take him seriously at all, and he can't even make a coherent argument to save his life.
He can't concede because we're flat earthers. He can't concede.
I know he just explained that. Yeah,
the epic embarrassment of being crushed by a flat earther. He can't concede.
He's got that inherent bias. Yeah.
Because you grew up with everybody gets a trophy. You don't get a trophy here for being a loser.
What's up, Bong? I hear you, man.
Bong wants to ask him something. I don't know. He's muted right now. Tell me what you want to ask him, Bong Sao, and then we'll decide if we want to.
Ask him, what kind of person, right? What kind of philosopher, right, never thinks? What kind of philosopher always has to think about what other dead philosophers have thought about, even though it doesn't make sense, and keeps going with it? What do you call that person? Is that a philosopher, or is that a religious zealot?
Sheep. I'm thinking of sheep. I don't know why.
Never think, right? Let other fucking dead men think for you. What the hell are you if you're not thinking? If you're not here philosophizing? You're quoting books and people who are dead and then complaining about other Christians, other religious people who use their books, right? And don't think, right, but have faith in what's been said to them. What are you? You're not a philosopher. You come here with your stupid profile trying to look like you're fucking think about shit, but you don't. I'm just saying, what do you think you are doing here if you're not preaching shit?
So somebody unmuted him, but I'm sorry. So I gotta mute you again because I gotta address what you said in the live stream voice. It's like you're not listening. You're not hearing us. You said invoking intelligent dead men is wrong, but invoking Jesus is very smart. Who here? Rewind the hours here and tell me who kept bringing up Jesus in the Bible and Christianity. You're talking to some imaginary straw man flat earther that you heard about on a Professor Dave video. We got that. How about if you consider talking to the people who are right in front of you, who are talking about logic, philosophy, falsifiability, and what science is? We're not talking to you about the Bible. We don't talk about that in the live stream, in fact, at all. We have a religion section, Cy. I'm sure you'd have a great time down there. I'll take you down there sometimes and introduce you to everybody down there, Cy. I'm sure they love you. That's not what we're about here. We're talking about objective reality.
Yeah, and this Jesus you're talking about, this religion that you're so against, right? It's the Catholic Church, right? They're the same people that gave you this ball earth, all this science that you're preaching. The same people that you have a problem against are the same people that gave you your model and all this thing you call science and knowledge. Those are the people you should be complaining to, the Pope, the people that gave you the ball. You see your problem? Like, you don't know who your enemy is. You don't know who you're angry at. You're so... Yeah, it's like Indio said, you can't hear shit because in your mind, right, it's already fixed. You guys are stupid, you guys are dumb, you guys are dumb. Who talks like that? Except little fucking kids who don't know how to speak and communicate. Sorry, that's it. Thanks, Dandelion. Sorry.
Yes,
the ancient Greeks weren't Catholic, you idiot.
Oh my goodness, Sai, please. You got to stop with this calling people idiots thing, okay? We haven't called you that, I don't think. Maybe Quantum Eraser did.
Bruh, are you dumb? Have you heard the people before?
Okay.
It doesn't matter
We are
anymore.
not a monolith. We are not the Borg. We are individuals. Sai, have I called you any names? Have I called you any names, Sai?
Yeah.
You called me Sai.
Attitude in a certain way.
Is that not your name? Do you want us to call you something else?
Don't be silly,
No,
bro.
yeah.
I'll just ban you if you're silly. Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
man,
Sai,
he's just an attention whore. I'm to come to the conclusion he's just an attention whore. He just likes the attention.
that's probably true. And it's sad. I mean, if you didn't get proper attention when you were a child, I understand. Like, and you're lashing out at the world. And so
Tell me,
on.
were you
That's
raised
fine.
by a single mother?
Give you a hug, bro. Come here. Give you.
Were you
want a
raised
hug?
by a single mother? I guarantee you're raised by a single mother, weren't you?
My dad's literally in the room above me, so probably not. So.
Oh, a single father? Oh, you live
No,
with your dad now?
My mom is sleeping next to her. So.
Is he your biological parents?
Yeah.
Do they know you act like this?
I mean, I literally speak in front of them. I study biochemistry in front of them. They do it with me too. So
do they know you act like
get him in here. Can you get him in here? Because seriously.
You want to speak to my parents?
Oh yeah,
no,
please. We'd love to. If they talk about biochemistry,
I haven't.
Yeah,
get him in here. We'll replay the live stream, like the last 15 minutes, and they're gonna wonder if they can have a postnatal abortion.
Honestly, they're really overprotective. They'd probably just be angry at you, but nothing else, because they'd agree with everything I say.
So they're yes men. Have you showed them this Earth curvature you believe in?
No, they're not yes men.
But have you showed them this Earth curvature you believe in?
But he doesn't want to talk about flat Earth. He's been trying to do everything to avoid it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm totally avoiding it.
His subjective thoughts are actually experiences. So he experienced the globe.
My philosophy, because I philosophized about the globe.
Oh, wait until you join the metaverse.
I presuppose the globe has some subjective thoughts about it, and it's a globe, and that's my experience.
It has to be floating.
Sai, I'm really hoping, Sai, that it might be hard for you to do here because we do have some people who are able to, kind of wake up and smell the coffee in real time when they're talking to us and realize, oh, there's something to this. You don't seem like somebody who's going to be able to do that, which is fine. Because you have your indoctrination is very strong, so it sounds like your parents reinforce that, which is fine. That's their right to do so as your parents.
I wasn't always an
when you
atheist.
you get older, maybe, or if you're just thinking about this on your own later without all your defensive mechanisms up and everything, maybe you'll think, Sai, would you be willing to listen to what I have to say without those little, condescending noises, Sai? Would you be willing to just listen to me give me 15 seconds, Sai? Would you give me that?
No, he can't. It's how he copes. It's how he copes. It's like
he
locking
can't
you
take
out.
in what I'm saying.
It's like sitting in the corner, rocking back and forth. I'm not listening. I'm not listening.
She's getting too deep.
If you want me to be honest, I probably would have. I would barely open my mouth if the very second I got in the server and went in the check-in, that Justin guy. I mean, you can just ask him. You can just ask him how the verification went. So
so you've met Justin, huh? Well,
yeah, and everyone here is like the same. Anyways, Dandelion, you can finish what you were saying.
Right? It's like, get off me.
You like me though?
No, let's talk about your feelings.
I would like to finish my thought. That would be cool. I'm just hoping that you will at least realize that even though you have been listening to the propaganda from Prof. Dave and all those things,
right?
You'll realize. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to finish my statement. Actually, I'm just going to go to bed. You guys can have fun with him. He's hopeless. I'm sorry, Sai.
Some
people just are, right? They're just hopeless. That's fine. All right. He doesn't hear anything we're saying. See you later.
You said you used to be. You didn't always
I
be
want to
atheist?
Can I say one thing for 30 seconds to this guy?
Oh yeah, man.
Can I say one thing for 30 seconds? This guy. I just want to finish what I started, experiencing the Earth as a globe. Guess what, dude? You're never going to. Ever. It's always going to be in your head, dude. Forever and ever, dude. You're locked into your imagination. Forever. Think about that for a second, dude. You're going to reject what you experience concept in your mind for your imagination. And it's a sad. But good luck with that.
So, Sai, you said you haven't always been an atheist. What brought about that change?
Just like, I mean, I can accept like a deistic God, but I just like the Abrahamic version just doesn't make sense. So
you're by definition not atheist.
I mean, no, I am atheist.
Well, that's agnostic.
No, agnostic is suspending any judgment.
What's that got to do with your science live stream?
And ignorance is judging a matter before looking into it. So there you go.
Huh?
He said
Matthew. He's a university professor and he's a Glober and he's a Christian. So you might want to start your spiral now.
Who?
No, this is Matthew. I was the one that asked about your history of atheism.
Matthew,
I don't believe the Earth is flat, but I'm a Christian.
Matthew.
You got rumpus by Bong Sao, Matthew. I'm sorry.
Yeah. His Mike Bong Fu was better than yours. What's that? Wing Chun?
Mike Wing Chun. Yes.
Wait, who's the Christian university guy you guys were talking about?
That's me. I'm Matthew.
Oh, okay. Wait, so did you ask something? I didn't hear it.
I was just explaining who I was and why I asked about your history with atheism. Yeah, I was just curious how you made that decision to stop believing in God.
So I know Matthew, and like all the Globers I've ever met are Christian, so all Globers are Christian.
Yeah. Same here.
So the Glober asked the Glober about religion. That I'm okay with.
Oh man, he's the only religious one. He's the one that's quoting the Bible in here, bro. Yeah, bro. And he says abiogenesis is true, and he's quoting the Bible.
It sounds like a personal vendetta or problem that you might have, Sai.
Well, how is the biogenesis?
Hey, want to see me start a Glober fight? I want you guys to define mass.
So here's what I would say to Sai about abiogenesis. I think that the beginning of life presupposes the creation of information from somewhere, and all the experience we've ever had is that information comes from intelligence, and so that's why abiogenesis is false, because the beginning of life is the beginning of new information.
It doesn't really go with kind after kind either, does it?
So by information, are you talking about information embedded in? Are you talking about information like
coding?
Encoded? Bruh.
Yes, I cut you short. We hate that long-winded crap. We all know there's coding. We all know there's coding, so let's not be asinine.
Are you talking about information in like genotypes and stuff? Like
coding?
Yes.
Information. It's a genotype of code.
Claude Shannon information theory, like the life has more information than non-life, no matter how you look at it.
You know how it says cellular organization? Remember when you said that?
We're supposed to let the Globies fight, aren't we?
Yeah, cellular organization is a term. I don't know
what we mean by information. It has to come from an intelligence, a mind.
Okay, can I respond to that now?
I mean, by definition, it is called genome code or genetic code.
No, it's called the genotype. Okay.
Well, data is just data until a mind puts it together.
What you need a citation?
Data is just data. Without a mind to put it together, like the dog uses its nose, right, to find stuff in its ears. That's all data. But without the mind, the dog doesn't know what it's doing with its senses. But here's the dog, right, using the information to survive. It can't be without the mind, without.
Okay, this is literally all sophistry. Can I respond to what you originally said?
Sophistry, huh? How so?
Because he's bringing in random metaphysical claims into a purely physical process. I don't know why.
I'm just not listening.
Bro, I'm tired of this shit, man. Hey, how do you? So, through which sense did you experience Earth being a globe? Remember that idiot was talking to you about that.
The fact that it's a physical process is philosophical because you can't demonstrate it. So it's sophistry you bring too.
Mike, this guy claimed his sense for seeing the Earth or experiencing the Earth as a globe was what his thoughts. Philosophy.
Yeah, well,
it's philosophy sense.
Yeah, but you can rationalize your senses.
So you
rational? No. Through which
can't
sense?
Demonstrate what you're saying through experimentation and make it a physical reality. So it is.
Copernicus thought. See, the reason why the Earth revolves around
your own sword. You fell on your own sword there.
I think Matthew was really good.
Hold on, wait, man. Wait,
Matthew was
really good.
Matthew, what do you think about the Stanley Ray experiment?
No, we're not going to revisit that shit again. I'm sorry.
No.
2 hours.
So here's the philosophy. Hold up, man. The reason why the Earth has to go around the sun is because Copernicus thought it was good logic. Listen to this, that the lesser should revolve around the greater. This is the reason why, right? The ball goes around the sun, and why it's not geocentric, why the sun doesn't go. You see, it was philosophy that started. So you're not wrong when you say it's all philosophy. You're not wrong, but it's not reality and it's not science. Do you understand now?
Okay, you clearly don't know what philosophy the sun was the just by analyzing that. You don't know what philosophy is.
Look it up. This is
okay. Define philosophy.
Man, we're gonna go there again. This guy's just gonna take you guys.
I know this guy's a moron. Here, get off me and let me just crush this dude with his own premises.
Yeah.
Come on, man, talk.
I wanted to hear Matthew speak about the Stanley Ray experiment.
No, we're on you and your sophistry.
Okay, what sophistry have I done?
Okay. You said everybody's bringing sophistry. I already demonstrated how your entire evolutionary theory is sophistry. You can't demonstrate any of it. So it's based on a philosophical, theoretical concept.
Fossils support evolution and abiogenesis.
I didn't say support. I said demonstrate. Hold on, Paul.
So the thing is that we cannot demonstrate.
That's right. You can only assert. So what?
We cannot. No. That's a false dichotomy. It's not either that we can.
Dichotomy. Do something other than assertion. Hold on. Don't tell me to let you speak. I'll let you speak when I prefer to.
It's a false dichotomy because there's
demonstrate it. Show me on false.
It's not either demonstrating it or asserting it.
Okay, explain it without asserting it. Without asserting it, then. How are you going to do that?
Explain
How you can make it a real reality without your assertion?
Okay,
I'm not asking for explanations. I'm asking for demonstrations.
Okay, abiogenesis?
Clearly, you don't know the difference.
Okay, abiogenesis, yes or no?
No.
We can go to evolution, period. You can give me whatever form of evolution you want. I want a demonstration of it. In reality, give me a citation to the experimentation that proved it to be a reality.
Okay, well, first of all, abiogenesis can't occur today because there's too many living organisms that would consume.
Yeah, well, how does that address what I said?
Because I'm saying that you can't.
I'm not talking about abiogenesis. I'm talking about evolution. Demonstrate any premise in evolution with experimentation. Go. Make it a reality for me without running your damn mouth. Give me a citation.
What do you mean experimentation? I just said it doesn't occur today.
You're not going to get a citation out of this guy.
Well, it means it's not.
Hold up. So is all evolution biogenesis?
Evolution came after abiogenesis. So after abiogenesis is no longer possible.
You guys can't agree on that.
Huh?
You Globers, you don't agree on that. Another guy says evolution doesn't require abiogenesis. When it comes to Globers, I mean, we all have.
He's a Christian.
We all have solid formation.
It doesn't have to be.
I don't care what his religion is. I'm trying to get past his sophistry, his assertions, and make it a reality.
You can't because of irreducible complexity. if you haven't heard, scientists have moved on to intelligent design.
Oh my god.
So what are you doing back there?
Listen, your God didn't walk you into this. You did. You fell on your own sword.
You need to come to the future, come to the present, to what scientists are doing today.
I know
in evolution. You can't do science with it. That's why it has
spitting old ass theories are colloquial theories, not scientific theories, because they're not backed by experimentation. And like, so do you believe? Do you believe intelligence evolves along with man? Yes or no? We become more intelligent as we're better equipped to live in our environment.
I think the opposite.
Yeah, you know, that's the pistol that's going to kill you, right? Why do we file archaic concepts when we now live in a more refined technological world and we can actually demonstrate truth and reality wherein we don't have to theorize them about no more, but we still file these Pied Pipers of the past who
trying to take us back.
Didn't even have a fucking microscope when they came up with their theory.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, did Darwin have a microscope set? Did this guy even have a formal education, or was he just an ignorant moron that got
That's not what Darwin
and said
did.
a lizard looked like a human, so they must be related?
How are people
You're just retarded at this point.
I'm not retarded, dude, and you couldn't
You're a retardation.
You're the moron, bro.
Hold on, guys. Don't
There's
get
no
all
way
triggered
you just said
because I
that,
want to
bro.
point out something. Your inability to fucking demonstrate your claims and make them a reality in no way is a qualifier for my slowed mental capacity, okay? It's a qualifier for yours. Once again, you're going to fall on your own fucking sword. All I got to do is let you talk and finish your sentence, and you prove you're ignorant and stupid all the way.
Well, I think he's religious. I think you're blinded by your passion for this thing that you're going after. Whatever it is you're going after, right? You're not going to get it. Like, are you fighting a war against God or against people who believe
I'm
in
still
God?
waiting for that citation for scientific experimentation on your theories to make them something more than sophistry. Remember?
Yeah, it's not a religion. I'm not religious.
Yeah, you were looking for the quick door out, but I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to grind you in the ground with that sophistry shoe.
Okay, go ahead.
You live in a philosophical world. You couldn't demonstrate anything you're talking about. And because of it, you attack
those two things have no correlation.
You attack the person, not the premise.
Philosophy can speak about ontology, so it can speak about things in the real world. So those two things.
Philosophy can talk about ontology because ontology is a philosophical concept, is it not?
Ontology is just entity. Ontology is entity. So yeah.
Yeah, entity? No, it's where did we come from?
That's not what ontology is. Ontology is entity. It speaks about the entity of what things
What's the ontological question?
Bruh, are you talking about the ontological argument for God? That's different.
Hey, like, you're the person. How can you, who is equipped with so much knowledge and equipment today, technology, not be smarter than that dumbass Darwin who had nothing, who works for people, who was hired?
This idiot just called Darwin a dumbass, bruh.
Yeah, he is a dumbass.
Listen, he's another archaic
just like
one
Einstein.
that didn't even have a formal education.
Another moron.
So how are you going to qualify that he wasn't a dumbass?
You can do so much more than these people. Why do you
How are you going to prove it? He married his cousin.
So-called didn't know anything? Why aren't you blazing?
He married his cousin, man. He could live in Alabama or Texas and be fine.
Why are you denying your senses when we have all this science to explain to us what's really going on? Why are we living like mystics who don't understand shit about their reality?
Why do you guys use your senses to like determine reality? Like, oh my God.
He's what you call a fig wasp.
Why do you rely on people for integrity that are obviously lower in intelligence than modern people?
I disagree with that. I've agreed with everything you said. Battle mod.
Explanations of where you live I don't care if you agree. You have no qualifiers to build a case.
No, I'm saying I agree with everything you said except for that. I don't think they're the most technologically refined today. I think man is ignorant compared to, the man of old, the ancient man with the ancient wisdom. Like, we don't even know how they built the pyramid.
Show me the guy of old that has a laser.
Yeah, why?
Okay, so maybe we're more advanced electronically.
Show me the guy of
consider
old
that might be even worse.
Point communication.
Maybe they purposely didn't use electronics because it was harmful to us. They were carcinogenic and stuff like that. We don't know how they built the pyramids, for God's sake. We are not. You can't claim that we're more technologically advanced than all of man of history.
I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell every idiot that says that. Just do not assume, because we don't build the pyramids, that no engineer could design a process by which to build the same fucking pyramid.
I didn't say that. I said we don't know how they.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't. I can replicate.
Because that means that we didn't have their technology.
I could replicate them. So listen, just because we don't have their technology doesn't prove ours isn't better.
Yeah, but doesn't prove it is either. And if we are so much more intelligent, we should listen. If we are so much more intelligent, we should be able to reverse engineer at least their technology. And we can't even do that.
Listen, wrong, please, man. Listen, I'm an engineer by trade, in degree, so I'm telling you, we can replicate the fucking pyramids. It doesn't matter if we match their process.
It does matter. If you're claiming they're more intelligent, we should be able to reverse engineer it. We should be able to make it like backwards compatible, as it were.
I don't believe that you can replicate.
No, wow, how is it?
And I don't think you can adequately replicate it.
How is reverse engineering a qualifier for intelligence? This is what I gotta know.
Because you're saying you could replicate it, right? But you don't know how they did it. So if you're more intelligent, you should be able to replicate it the way that they did it.
Replicate it. I'm going to tell you that again.
Listen, we could agree to disagree on this.
Well, it's the same way. Well, you can disagree, but are you an engineer? Have you been tasked with replicating anything ever in your life?
Do you know how they built the pyramids?
Yes or no?
Do you know how they built the pyramids? Yes or no?
Speak on this. I don't need to.
No engineer knows how they did it. It doesn't matter if you're an engineer.
It doesn't matter.
Agreed.
And we have pretty good ideas of how they built it. Leverage. Leverage. You can move more weight with box and tackle than you can move with a crane. They had box and tackle pulleys, dude.
It's like you want to live in some kind of
mystical... They built it from rock, man. You just act like we don't know anything about their fucking process. And you're only displaying your ignorance.
We are not as technologically advanced as as they were in the past.
Listen,
absolutely.
This is your assertion that you haven't qualified.
The learned men of today, the leaders of knowledge today are nowhere at the level of the leaders of knowledge of the learned men of the past.
You're not one.
Prove that.
Yeah, man, all you have to do is rely on the ancient texts. See all of the knowledge that all of the ideas that we have for how the universe works came from those ancient men. We haven't improved upon them that much.
Is history 100%?
I know what he's talking about.
100% reliable.
I thought ancient men were apes and freaking soup that were swimming on help.
No, miss me with that.
Hey,
evolution's a lie.
How is this proving the globe? Can anyone prove the globe to me, please? I'm dying to hear.
No one can prove the globe. Come on,
please, I'm dying to hear someone prove it.
I want these idiots to actually say stuff like this.
Don't hold your breath.
Because without the globe, you don't have anything to do all these things. Thank you. The globe. About that.
Hey, bro. Yeah, bro.
I mean, I just joined this call. I just really want to hear someone explain the globe. Like, come on.
That's what we want this Sai.
Well, damn it. Yeah, wait your turn. We've all been waiting.
He's desperately trying to talk about anything but the globe. He's having a really hard time finding Earth curvature.
I want to know how the globe aligns with my senses every day.
It doesn't end off by thank you.
So Sai here reckons it can be proven with philosophy. Don't get excited. Calm down. I know, but go ahead, man. Sai, you still there?
The reality is which it is presented.
Hey, man.
Right?
I muted him because we don't discuss religion on this channel. Remember?
Right. Oh, cool.
That's why I muted him. Yeah.
I mean, just think about it. If you're just born on a fucking hut in the middle of nowhere, you wouldn't just be like, "Hey, this is a water ball spaceship." Like, you have to be told that information.
Well, if we were in the middle of a hunt and you said some stupid shit like that to me, I'd probably knock you out for fucking up the hunt. Be like,
I'm just
dude,
saying, like,
Bong, if we're hunting, I can rationalize.
trying to have your own idea of what you live on without someone telling you, you naturally would just come up with this idea that you're on a water ball spaceship, just naturally.
I rationalize that there's an elk right behind that hill.
I mean, how many centrics are there?
Here's the thing, though, buddy. If you're out there worried about hunting your fucking in the forest, you ain't got time to think about all that other bullshit because you got to survive.
We got to account for
Try using your fucking brain for
Why
once.
are we going to a different content dimension? I mean, this is like 24/7 flat Earth discussions, right? I think I asked you, can you prove the globe? I didn't ask, hey, can you tell me how to live in nature and shit? I'm just asking a simple question, like, why would any human actually come up with this idea in their head?
Oh my god!
You told this, bro.
They would. No human
So
has ever
sorry.
naturally
I
thought-
guess the only globe is actually speaking at the moment. Sorry.
Except for dinosaurs.
I want to know who that was directed towards.
I think he's trying to direct it to a glober, but
Size
but-
there.
I meant the rant, not the question.
Well, he's muted. We gotta unmute him if you want him to answer.
I unmuted him, man.
Stein.
No, like I said, I just
Why
joined
would
the call.
human?
Listen, you
Go
guys
ahead.
talking about pyramids.
Bong, you gotta let people talk or they can't be heard.
I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
Am I supposed to shut up? Who's
no.
shut
Go ahead.
No, you're the guy we want to hear. And you need to take that creator and religious stuff to lobby, to
I don't
Bible
talk
lobby.
about religion at all. I ain't say nothing about that.
I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to Seb.
Oh,
If
good.
you guys don't clear the religion out of the science stream, I will. It's that simple. We got multiple lobbies down there for religious people.
Right.
Okay, so I mean, I got a basic question then. So, when you are younger and you're, growing up,
Before you continue your question, who is this directed to?
just anybody,
Everybody,
anyone here. I'm just trying to get to the
I'm with him. I just want him to be able to emphasize it. Can we let him finish?
Yeah. I'm just free talking. I really don't care. But like, I have a son, and I'm raising him, and I'm teaching him everything that he knows. It's very similar to all of us. I'm just saying, just naturally, if I didn't tell him about the globe, I don't think that he's just naturally going to be like, hey, we live on a water ball spaceship. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Good man.
So my question is, if you're just born in the middle of like a hut with like no one telling you this information, would you naturally come to this heliocentric model? Like how like is there a third model? There's only heliocentric and heliocentric.
I got one for you.
How do you naturally just come up with that? Like how does that match up with your senses?
The answer to your question is absolutely not.
Matthew.
They're tending the fire hut. They look up at the ceiling of the hut and they say, "Oh my God, I live on a ball." Yeah.
You would probably come to the conclusion, as many ancient cultures did, that the sun went underneath the earth at night and came up on the other side of the earth, just because that's what you see and experience.
Yeah, but we have better explanations nowadays, like attenuation, atmospheric extinction of light. So it doesn't have to disappear. It gets blocked after a certain amount of atmosphere is in between you and it.
Yeah, but if you're just living in a hut, you wouldn't come up with that attenuation. You would.
I know, but I want to get
the earth
out.
goes.
So the thing that implies this is the thinnest part of the atmosphere is the top part, right? And that's where we see light first at dawn. First, it lights up the sky, and then as it gets closer, eventually it'll light up the ground. And then as it leaves, it doesn't light up the ground, but the sky is still lit. Dusk and dawn, same thing. So this actually applies a rate of attenuation. That's why it goes from the floor to the ceiling, from the ceiling to the floor.
Yeah, but his question was,
wow.
Nobody taught you anything. What would you assume?
Matthew, but what's funny is you look.
I would assume it moves so far away I can't see it.
Yeah. So
no, you would assume it goes under the earth, like they all did.
But is you understand that what you looked at was the sky instead of looking at the ground and measuring the ground?
Yeah, you would assume that the Earth is flat and the sun goes under the flat Earth.
Hey, I got another question. So like the tides, you know how it's like pulsing? Like, what's happening in the center of flat Earth? Does anybody have a good theory to throw my way?
Nothing, because it's fake.
Well, actually, we know it's hydrology nowadays, and there's an entire theory wrapped around that. Hydrology, it's the hydraulic nature of underground water flow. And
but yes, if you want to actually predict it, just
heating
use
and
the globe
cooling.
model.
Well, no, that's not true. Heating and cooling. As one area cools off, water expands underground when it's hot. So as it warms up, the water that's underground is pushed out. And as it cools off, it contracts, so there's more room in the cavity in Earth for water to go. It could replace the tide. And here's the thing with the model, and don't interrupt me. With the globe model, it would imply a uniform tide all the way around Earth, but there's not. And it would imply a uniform tide on all water on Earth, all bodies. But we don't see uniform tides. Not like they say at poles. It'd be high tide on one side and low tide on the other. Period. But it's not. That's not what we observe. So your model doesn't predict what you say it does, Matthew. No offense, but if you actually research high tide and low tide and the times they happen around the world, you'd know this. So you're just making this claim from a standpoint of ignorance. Like 90% of the globers who come in here, they make assertions that they haven't even researched to see if it would ring true in reality. So your people perish for the lack of research or knowledge. And ignorance is their only claim to fame.
It is interesting that the tides follow the sun and the moon, and then also the difference in distance to the moon.
I just described how they don't.
They do. It's just that water
they do
sloshes
not.
around, and so they're 5 or 6 hours late.
They don't. It's got nothing to do with water sloshing around. Your model doesn't predict water.
That's hilarious. That's really funny, Matthew.
We see convective currents in the ocean. Convective. Same as hydrology, they're affected by the temperature. Whether the sun's out warming the waters or whether it's gone and the waters are cooling.
So it just happens to follow a 29-day cycle just like the moon, just sort of randomly?
No, it doesn't follow a 29-day cycle, and it's not uniform.
Okay.
This is why most oceanic researchers are now leaning with hydrology, just like I said. This is the mainstream explanation nowadays for oceanic movement, hydrology, the hydraulic nature of water on Earth. You know how many gallons of water are underground? When you heat up the ground, you can't deny water expands, pushing it out of the cavities under Earth. And when it cools off, the cavities have more room for water to go back into them.
And then we respond to the globe who asked the question. There is no center of the flat Earth. We don't know how far down it goes. We don't know what's below.
That's why I didn't touch it.
Well, I mean, I guess.
What about the North Pole?
What about it?
Isn't that the center, or is that like not the center?
To know that, we'd have to know the extent of land on Earth, wouldn't we?
We only know the surface.
Well, I mean, going away from
we'd have to know all
Pole.
the land that actually exists now.
I mean, the North Pole is equidistant
It doesn't
from
change my
Antarctica,
statement.
So, I mean, it kind of would seem like the North
How does
Pole.
that address?
I mean, does anyone think that the celestial time clock and where the North Star Polaris is it true that the North Star is actually shifting? So, like, it may not be the true North Pole?
No.
We don't believe it shifts.
We know it's not at the
It
very
never
center.
shifts outside of
moved in
given
2,000
course,
years.
not a jot or not a tittle. So was the North Star ever Thubian? Only in theory.
I mean, have you looked at the celestial time clock? How they have that other hidden land?
What?
Yeah.
Polaris hasn't observed to move in 2,000 years.
It goes off of like the zodiac signs, and basically like the North Star is supposed to go around that circle of the zodiac signs, causing the sun and moon to shift. Like with the North Pole, because they're saying the North Pole shifting every 4 miles.
And they're wrong.
Or something like that. But just saying, like, if that's the case, doesn't that align almost with the celestial time clock? If you look into the celestial time clock, it goes off the zodiac sign, fires like the wheel, and it's basically shifting. So it's like the sun and moon is following the North Star as it's shifting. So eventually, all this land will be dark, and all the other.
Where's your evidence that it's shifting?
I would have to show you some images of what I'm trying to explain, but like I said, it's a fact. It's kind of like just talking off of the celestial time clock, as far as when it does shift to the other side, where the other what is it called? Because right now we're going to Aquarius, right? Like,
are you talking about just the constellations, like the stars moving throughout the year?
I'm gonna have to show
the sidereal cycle.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I wouldn't say the North Star is shifting because of that. I mean, it's a little bit off center. It's not right at the celestial, center, the celestial North Pole. But I wouldn't say it's like shifting, because that sounds like what the Globers say, which is like, over 1,000 years or something like that, it's going to be a different North celestial pole. A different star is going to be there. So just to like avoid confusion, I wouldn't say that, just going through its sidereal cycle just like every other star.
So, what would you say the proper motion of Polaris is, and why is there a proper motion listed if it never moves?
You see that picture I put in the? I hope I put it in the right one. The live stream voice text.
Yeah.
So apparently, there's other land on the other side of that wheel. And that's the celestial time clock.
So would you just assume it?
Yeah, because
nobody's ever seen it, right?
Wait, there's like another world on the other side of that clock?
No.
Yeah, like it's not exposed, because like the center there, like the center where you see like all those like symbols, those zodiac signs and stuff, apparently like that circle from this video I watched, okay? I'm not saying this is true, but apparently like the North Star shifts in the middle of that circle, and then the sun and moon follows it, and it's going to eventually emit the other side of that clock, and there's other land underneath it. And apparently most of these buildings were already built before our time. Like the foundation's way deep in the ground and shit, and there's like underground cities. So it's like, is there like a great reset?
No, I think you're just not getting, like, you're misunderstanding it.
So is that clock like a portal? Like, can you go through it, or how does that work?
I'm going to show you the video. And
No, it's basically, so you have the lunar cycle, the solar cycle, and the sidereal cycle, right? That image that you posted shows the sidereal cycle superimposed on the solar cycle. So you have like, the constellation clock, if you will, on top of the, the solar clock, the clock that we all use. And throughout the year, you're going to have different constellations in the sky, simply because you're going to be in different times in your sidereal cycle. They don't match up 100%. But it's always the same, like, constellations that you see throughout the year. They just slowly shift. Over, thousands of years, we haven't seen any difference. We're still seeing the same constellations. There's no new constellations drifting in and old constellations drifting out, as you would expect if they were like suns, balls of gas that are going at their own respective speeds in their own respective directions and stuff like that.
No, yeah, I agree. It's the same constellation, but what I'm trying to say is, like, is it possible for that celestial time clock to actually be true? Because that center circle is not always on the right side of the whole full circle around it. It does shift around.
Of course.
I mean,
that's because different positions on Earth observe the different constellations at different times of the year. right? That doesn't mean that there's more hidden land. We could take out the stars completely and we'll still have the same land, and we could discover it and explore it and stuff like that. It's just what you see at a specific point on Earth when you look up at the sky, depending on when in the year it is in the sidereal cycle.
Yeah, I'm definitely not arguing the star constellation. I agree with all that. It's more so of, do you believe that there's other land on the other side, and eventually that the land that we're living on now will not have sun or moon for like a few thousand years until the cycle goes back to this side.
Well, when you say other side, what do you mean?
I can. So basically, now the sun and moon is revolving around the North Star. Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to say is the North Star is eventually going to shift to the other side of this clock. Like this whole circle that you're looking at is literally going to shift up. And then that's going to bring the sun and moon with it. The land is still going to stay where it's at, but it's eventually going to emit the other side of the clock with sun and moon for 3,600 years or whatever it is per each little cycle. If you see in the middle, they have like those little lines. Those are new great years, they call it.
So you think eventually the sun and the moon are going to like basically drift above and beyond like the Antarctic, like the shore of Antarctica, the ice wall, and go to like basically be on top of other land? Am I understanding you right?
I mean, essentially, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to find like a better example to. Here's another picture. Let's see. There you go.
I don't think it works like that, because the sun and the moon are in their own cycles, right? In their own circuits. I don't think they're pegged to the sidereal, like the circuit of the stars. So, first off, in the thousands and thousands of years of observing the stars, they haven't shifted, and in those same thousands of years, the sun and the moon's cycles or circuits haven't moved either. So, I feel like there's too many premises that are just not realistic for this to actually happen eventually. And if I'm misunderstanding you, then please correct me.
Who's talking?
Me.
There you go. Here you go. Let's send you something. Kind of tagged it at the certain spot. It's a better diagram of it.